Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we'll be talking about DeShaun Watson wanting to be traded to the New York Jets. Yes, DeShaun Watson would prefer to be traded to the New York Jets. That's a real thing. But before we get started today, I just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the podcast and link to the merch down in the description below. So according to the Miami Herald, DeShaun Watson has two preferred trade locations, the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. And according to this article, it is not the Miami Dolphins that he wants to be traded to the most. It is, in fact, the New York Jets. Now, it seems like both the Jets and the Dolphins would be the quote-unquote front runners to land DeShaun Watson, who is, at this point, unhappy with how things went with the Texans, and who could blame him? They had a really good stud wide receiver that they traded away for next to nothing. They have been led into the ground multiple times. They said that DeShaun Watson would have a say in the matter of the GM process and the head coaching process, and they pretty much went out and did everything the exact opposite of what a good, stable franchise should be doing. For instance, they interviewed Josh McCown for the head coaching position, and I believe he was on their practice squad this year. Going from a practice squad quarterback to a head coach in the NFL seems like a stretch. If you wanted to hire him as a quarterback coach, fine, that's one thing, but a head coaching interview seems a little bit insane. So it's obviously a little bit understandable why DeShaun Watson may want out. And between the Jets and the Dolphins, both those teams have multiple draft assets. The Dolphins have Tua that they could include in a trade, but according to this article, DeShaun Watson's made it pretty clear that he would prefer to be traded to the Jets. Supposedly, he really likes Robert Saleh a lot, and that's why he wanted the Texans to interview him. And it obviously didn't work out with the Texans because now he is the Jets head coach, and that puts the Jets in an advantageous situation, as Richard Sherman also came out to say that if he was DeShaun Watson, he'd be trying to get to the Jets because of Robert Saleh. And sure, he's a little bit biased as he's worked with him the last few years in San Francisco, but something you could absolutely be excited about because it seems like players really like Robert Saleh, and not just guys on the Jets and not just guys who have worked for him in the past. His reputation around the league is that good that people are going to want to come here. And that's another thing. If the New York Jets were to trade for DeShaun Watson, it's going to attract other free agents. Look at Allen Robinson liking just about every single tweet about DeShaun Watson going to the New York Jets. If the Jets were somehow able to pull Allen Robinson and DeShaun Watson, do you know what the offense would look like? It could be a complete 180 from a bottom tier offense, literally 32 in the league the last 2 years, up to a top 10 offense. That's how important a number one wide receiver like Allen Robinson is, and a legitimate top 5 quarterback. And that's the thing with DeShaun Watson. Yes, you could absolutely still like Sam Darnold. You could absolutely like one of the quarterbacks in the draft, whether it be Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, whatever. But to get a bona fide 25-year-old, that's a key thing. He's in the prime of his career right now, 25 years old, in a trade would be something that almost we've never seen before. It's so rare that a quarterback of that caliber gets traded in the prime of his career, no less. That's how badly the Texans messed this up. And would I say that I would bet the house on this happening? No, but it is a little bit weird that it seems like the stars seem to be aligning. Yes, he was in New York recently. We saw the thing with saying they wanted the car painted Jets green. There's a lot of weird scenarios here lining up, which makes it intriguing. It really does. Another one of the benefits here is the amount of picks the New York Jets have. They have 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. And I really still believe, even though he is forcing his way out, the kind of caliber that DeShaun Watson is, I think it's going to take 3 first-round picks. So obviously you could do that a couple different ways. You could do 2 this year, 1 next year. You could do 1 the next 3 years. There's a variety of ways to do it and a variety of ways to get creative. And I somewhat understand some people's concern about moving first round picks, but the Jets still have so many draft assets this year in particular that even if they moved both of these 2 first round picks, they would then probably trade Sam Darnold somewhere else, because I don't think you're including Sam Darnold in a trade for the number 2 overall pick. You'd assume the Texans would reset the rookie clock and go with a Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, someone like that. So then you could flip Darnold somewhere else for a second. You'd have 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fifths. You'd have a ton of draft picks to build around, and you would still have nearly $80 million in cap space even after making this trade. So you can bring in an Allen Robinson, you can sign a Joe Thuney if you want to, you can bring in a premier cornerback, you can bring in a premier edge presence, and like we said earlier, DeShaun Watson would be a huge recruiting tool to bring some of these important guys in. So while I am not ready to bet the farm on this happening, like I said, I do think it's interesting that so many things seem to be aligning here. And I will tell you this, all the DeShaun Watson photoshops of him in the green and white or black that were used in the thumbnail, they look good. And that would be a lot of fun to watch a legitimate franchise quarterback, a legitimate top 5 quarterback in this league who, by the way, 25 years old, still young, playing for the New York Jets. It would be a lot of fun. So with that, let me know what you think down in the comments below, or you can get at me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.